Welcome Home, a podcast for veterans, about veterans by veterans, is a project of Willing Warriors and the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run.
Good morning. I'm your host, Larry Ziliarts, Director of Culinary Services here at the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run. And this week, our guest is Charla and David Truesdale. And they are with the Warrior Spirit Project out of Texas. And it's an organization that helps warriors with meditation, yoga, a number of mindful activities that we'll explore with them here in a minute. But I actually ran into them through the Virginia Veterans Network. And I was online, and after I had had a conversation with the commissioner and encouraged me to go online and use the resource, the network, and I ran across Warrior Spirit Project, and I said, I have trouble sleeping, so, it can't hurt. Let me reach out to them, and I did, and I'm so thankful that I did, because I am actually sleeping better, and it's working for me. So that's why I wanted to have them on as a guest. So guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks, Larry.
If you would, can you give us a little bit of your background? I know, David, your prior service. Charla, are you prior service?
If you count the family member that hangs out at home, then yes. But no, I'm not active. I have not been active in the military, but I did work with the military through my career.
And David, were you Army?
No, actually, I was a federal law enforcement agent with NCIS, but I served in Iraq in 2004, leading a joint military and civilian counterintelligence, human intelligence team. And then 2011 into 2012, I was assigned as an augmentee to the Special Operations Command in Afghanistan. So although I'm not military, I've served with the military for 27 years.
Well, I think that's probably as close as you could get. So we'll sort of count that. So are you retired, both of you?
I am retired. And yes, many people have said that I have military service, but I'm very careful to clarify that I am not a veteran.
Yeah. Well,
however, he did grow up in a family of Marines, so I think that counts too.
Yeah, I bet it does. So tell us a little bit about the Warrior Spirit Project and how it got started.
Well, my background is in health promotion and health education, and I had been teaching yoga for a while and just had started teaching about the same time that 9/11 came about. And over the years of teaching in military settings, it just started to feel like it might be helpful for our military members who were returning home after their deployments and having some struggles from that. And so I started looking into how yoga might be of help. And through various, I guess, things that happened that were not really coincidences, but were supposed to happen, I came to the realization that this is something I wanted to do for real, to teach yoga to these groups. And I had no intention of actually starting a nonprofit, but, sometimes when you don't intend to do something necessarily, you're supposed to anyway. And so we started the nonprofit because we needed to do that to make this work the way that we hoped it would.
And how long have you guys been around with the nonprofit?
This is our 10th year. Whoa. We are celebrating our 10-year anniversary in July.
Okay, so that's not a fly-by-night operation by any means. That's awesome.
Not at all. We have a large network now that we're very connected with, and we collaborate with a lot of other organizations to bring what we do to them. And we're also 100% volunteer. So that's been beneficial to us because we don't have that overhead issue hanging over us and paying staff and that sort of thing. So we're able to keep going.
Mm-hmm. So type of services do you offer to veterans and first responders?
Our primary program is trauma-informed yoga and meditation, which is what we started out with wanting to do, and we've grown into a few other things from there. But the meditation that we do is called integrative restoration, or IREST for short, little I, and then a capital REST. And that was actually developed in 2006 for combat wounded at Walter Reed. And the person who developed it wanted to take it in with yoga in the name. And at that time, yoga was not an acceptable terminology in that system, in the military system, which it's widespread now. But at the time, they didn't like that terminology. So he went back and kind of revamped a few things with the type of meditation. It is a guided meditation. Mm-hmm. And made it kind of sanitized it. There's no woo-woo to it. There's no strange language in it. It's all very straightforward and easy for anyone to listen to. And he took it back in. He added a couple of things like an inner resource, which kind of helps put us at ease when we're settling in for the meditation. And it worked so well that they started doing research. A lot of different groups wanted to research it, and it's been found to be very helpful for sleep and pain management. And they're still researching its efficacy for post-traumatic stress. So has a good history behind it and a good bit of evidence to back it up. So that's our primary meditation.
Well, I know firsthand, and I can attest to it, that I do use the IREST for sleeping, and it works very well. I do use it at night. I don't use it every night because some nights I'm just really tired and I don't have trouble going to sleep eventually. On nights where I think I might need it, it's a 20-minute little program, and I just play it. I go out, which I don't know how it works. I don't know what it's doing to me, but it is putting me to sleep. So that's a good thing. And I certainly encourage everybody to look at your webpage, which, by the way, I want to point that out. It's warriorspiritproject.org, O-R-G, and there's a lot of resources on there, one of which regular listeners will know is we want to highlight the donate button. It's in the top right-hand corner, and I want everybody to click on it. And as Charla said, it volunteer run, organized, but these things cost money, and the webpage costs money, and people to fix the webpage costs money. There's a lot of things that cost money for a nonprofit, especially when they just have volunteers. And so click on that donate button and give what you can. It's pretty painless. It took me about less than 2 minutes to go through it and make a donation. So I know our listeners can help contribute in some way and use the resources, reach out to them and let them help you. It's just been transformative for me. One thing I would like you to do, and David, maybe you could help us out with this, but what the meaning behind a trauma-informed?
Well, there's a lot of different things that we do in a trauma-informed class, which is specifically geared towards the warrior and warrior family members. A couple of the things that we do is we speak plain language. The last thing that you want to do when you walk into something different like yoga is have somebody talking in a language which you wouldn't necessarily understand. So we speak plain English. Mm-hmm. We never put hands on people. A lot of yoga classes you attend, they may try to adjust your body into a posture that many of our bodies will not get into because we all have different bodies. Some of us have injuries that prevent us from getting into particular postures. So we never put hands on people. We always try to make the facility where we're teaching as safe as possible. We orient people to the room, unusual noises that may happen. If you're in a public facility, we're always watch the door. Those are just a couple of the things. We don't move about the room. So participants will feel safe knowing that we're always in the same spot. And if there's anything that comes up during the class that needs their attention, we'll bring it to their attention. So those are just a couple of the things that lead it to being a trauma-informed practice.
Mm-hmm. You guys.
Yes, and if I could add too, all of those are really important for how we present the class. The focus of it too, both the yoga and the meditation, is that we are facilitating the relaxation response. So whenever trauma has been experienced, it has a tendency to stay in the body, even if we don't realize it's there, until it has a way to process. And so we stay in that heightened sense of awareness or stay on high alert. And that's the sympathetic nervous system. The fight or flight response, as we commonly know it. And so our practices are focused on getting us out of that fight or flight mode and into a more relaxed state, into the parasympathetic nervous system. So our practices are very grounding, and we focus a lot on body sensing and feeling safe in the body, and just doing things that allow the whole nervous system to come back into balance.
And the yoga and meditation go hand in hand, or are they two separate things, or would somebody be like meditating and then doing yoga? How does that work?
A lot of times, most of the time, we try to combine the two. If we're going to be doing a yoga practice, we almost always include at least a short iris meditation at the end, because the yoga helps the body settle physically, and then the meditation can be experienced at an even deeper level because the body is already settled. But we do have classes that are the meditation only, and they're, very well received. And we have classes that last anywhere from 15 minutes. We have a simple breath practice that we do virtually that's only 15 minutes, and it might include a mini eye rest. And then we have 30-minute practices that combine both or that are eye rest only. And then we have some longer ones too. Those are usually in person. The ones we do in person are sometimes longer, so that we can get a full physical practice. And by physical, I mean it's not physical as in vigorous. It's just a way to move the body in a way that lets it settle physically, and it's adaptable to any body. We work with adaptive athletes, amputations, traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries. Our yoga and meditation can be practiced by anyone, but we do like to include that meditation at the end whenever we can, because it just kind of seals that sense of feeling at ease.
And you guys are based in Texas, but aside from the resources that are available through your webpage and the videos and that kind of thing, are there other practitioners around the country that are part of your organization, or what does somebody do who's in Iowa or Kansas?
They join us virtually.
Okay.
We unfortunately don't have any teachers that are doing in-person practices anywhere but in the Texas area right now. We do have a teacher in Minnesota, but she teaches virtually. We have warriors who participate with us from all over the country, but they participate virtually. And then we also have a YouTube channel. And so that's something that we developed during COVID, and we still keep it up because that's something that a person who wants to practice on their own time can go to and practice anytime. We have quite a few videos on there that are mostly short yoga practices. Once someone has practiced with us and we are familiar with them, then we have some hidden videos that are eye rest, and we can share those with them directly, and they can practice those as well from the YouTube channel.
So if somebody was working shifts or just did have trouble sleeping and that whole cycle was messed up, they could use these videos on your YouTube channel to help them out at all hours of the day or night.
Absolutely. And we do have a few, as you know, Larry, we have a few recorded eye rest practices on our website that are led by Dr. Miller, and he's the one who actually developed this meditation.
Yeah, that's the guy who puts me to sleep.
It's funny on that, Larry. I was going to ask you earlier. I know the meditation is 22 minutes long. I've never heard the end of it. Have you?
Oh, no. I have no recollection of where I go out. What my wife tells me is that over time, the recording gets softer and softer and softer, and I haven't even experienced that. So,
Well, the nice thing is it works.
Yes, for sure. What do you think? I know that meditation helps everyone, not just veterans, but for our audience is primarily veterans, with relaxation, with concentration, with PTS, anger management issues. What do you find is the top reason why veterans reach out to you for help? What do you think what's driving that?
Well, that's a good question. I think what happens is a lot of times veterans, first responders, and their family members, they struggle with a lot of things, and they may go to counseling, they may go to group therapy sessions, they may do peer-to-peer sessions with other organizations. And I think sometimes if things aren't working, they get to the point where they're willing to try something which sounds very different, because when you try to encourage somebody to do yoga or meditation for trauma, it's probably not the top of their mind. And so sometimes people are really struggling when they reach out to us. And, I don't want to say it's in a desperation mode, but sometimes it is. And some of those people we have seen come on with us, practice with us, and they've been with us for years. It's literally amazing. And you can see them just go through what we like to call it post-traumatic growth, because they grow from their trauma. And the meditation, the community that we build, because community is a really important focus for it.
Well, we know one of the things that plagues veterans, especially those who've recently separated, is the loss of their tribe and that support system that was always around them and telling them what to do and being there to catch them when they fall. And the stress just from the loss of that can sometimes be overwhelming. Then you compound it with medical issues that may be the result of their service. And then just the everyday problems of trying to raise kids, trying to work in a job you may not like, trying to buy a house, just so much. And I think anything that a veteran or anyone for that matter can do to bring down the stress level and sort of try to become grounded enough to where you can think through issues in your life is going to be hugely beneficial. And, I just really commend you guys for the work that you do, because you're just helping people. And I think what you do changes their life, because once they can get control over some of the issues that they have through meditation or through yoga and just kind of become grounded, or at least reach a manageable level of not craziness in their life, things change. Things change for the better. Just as much as when things are going bad and you see people spiral out of control, it's just the opposite too. When they get a grip on things with your help, it just things start to get better. So I would encourage everyone out there to go to the webpage, which is warriorspiritproject.org. Look at the resources. Go to the YouTube page. We'll have all the links to everything in the show notes, and check them out. Make sure that when you're at the webpage, you bang on that donate button. Give what you can. $5, $10, $1,000, $10,000, whatever you got. Really, without your donation, organizations like this will go away. And that will leave veterans, first responders, with fewer options when it comes to trying to get help. And not only does it help the veteran, but it helps the family. And the family is eligible to participate in this. And I just think, I'm just glad that I took Commissioner Zingler's advice and I went on to the Virginia Veterans Network and I ran across you guys because you're making a huge difference, not only in my life, but I think in the lives of many, many veterans. And I commend you for that.
Thank you, Larry. We really appreciate that. And you're correct that loss of mission or loss of purpose is one of the things that anyone in the warrior community, when you leave that community, that's something which disappears, and that's important to find. So it's really important for them to find a mission and purpose again. And one of the things that we have found is that our participants have become huge advocates for us, because once they realize how much it's done for them, that they go on and, just like you're doing, is to continue to promote the benefit of this. What do you think, Char?
Well, and I would just want to add to any warriors that are listening to this program right now, one thing we like to say to everyone that's in our community is, first of all, you're not broken. And secondly, you're not alone. And we are here to stand beside you, to offer the resources that we can. If we cannot do something that you really need, we are happy to help you find what you need by referring you to others. We have a huge network. But the most important thing to recognize is that it's very normal to go through this transition the way that you're going through it, because it is a great loss, but it's not the end. And there is still this wholeness within you that just needs to be recognized again. And that's what we're here to help do, help you recognize that.
Well, I tell you, I really appreciate you guys coming on with us today and talking about the Warrior Spirit Project and letting everybody know what's out there and how you guys can help. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Larry. It was an honor to be on your show.
Well, for our listeners, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can reach us at podcast@willingwarriors.org. We'll have another episode next Monday morning at 0500. Until then, thanks for listening.
The Welcome Home podcast is brought to you by Willing Warriors, a nonprofit organization serving active duty service members and veterans since 2012. To learn more, please visit our webpage at willingwarriors.org.